Good evening, Mississippi. Hi there, Jamie Lasia Roberts here, coming to you with another video on my YouTube channel. This video is called Justice for Kyren Lacy. Um, I want to start out before I make or do this video. Sorry, proceed to do this video. I want to start out by first apologizing that I did not get to reference anything about Kyren Lacy in my last video, Justice for Trey Reed. That was not meant to focus on just something that happened in Mississippi. I want to bring awareness for things that happen like that, of hate and violence and racism, no matter where in this country or in this world that it happens. So I want to make that abundantly clear, because I know that there's people that, that can hear things and kind of take it the wrong way or whatever, because, and you can't blame them. This day and age, the way people are, you never really know what a person truly means. So I want to apologize for that. I wasn't meaning to leave anyone out whatsoever. With Kyren Lacy's story, I had just seen a video of his story and didn't know anything about it before that, which is very sad. That just goes to show how much media is only focused on certain people and not situations like that deserve full media coverage worldwide, so everybody knows what's going on, and that's very sad. And I aim to change that. That's one of my things I want to do. I aim to change that, because that's something that first happened in October of 2024, and he self-deleted himself in April of 2025. And I'm not hearing about it until October of 2025, now that it's flooded all over TikTok. So that's how I that's how I was able to get information and facts and hear all about Kyren Lacy's story from over in Louisiana, because it's now suddenly flooded all over TikTok, when before in the past, back in earlier September, August, or any other the months of this year, backwards to October 2024 when it first happened, it was like crickets, silence, nothing about it ever. Any coverage was very bare minimum, and they say that he was bashed all over social media. It must have been a very isolated, which I believe it was done. I'm just saying it must have been a very isolated post on the different social media or whatever, because it's something I never knew anything about up until here, right before I made the Justice for Trey Reed video. But anyways, back to this video. I'm here because I want to make a video for him, and I will continue to make videos for every person that deserves justice, and that needs justice, and needs awareness brought to their situation, whether they're alive or unalived, and so that they get the justice that they deserve, so that they are seen, so they are not ignored, and they're, like I said, they're seen. They know that they're seen and that they're heard, and someone sees them and hears them and cares about them and wants them to get that justice, because it is unfair. As I said in my last video, and I'll say it again, it is very unfair for brown-skinned and black-skinned people to have to walk these lands in fear. And in Kyren Lacy's situation, he had to walk every day and drive every day and move around every day, move with all of this weight on him, knowing people automatically assumed he was guilty and believed this and believed that, and just all the hateful words. I mean, it's still happening now. I've seen a couple of different comments here on these TikTok videos that I seen here just a few days ago. It was 2 different times that I know of for sure, and it was both white-skinned Americans. I will say that with no problem. If I catch hate for it, so be it. I'm not going to sugarcoat. And they said that Kyren Lacy was weak-minded for what he did. First of all, how dare you come on a post about something like that and say something like that to someone that just, the moral of it is he was carrying a lot of weight, and he was carrying fear, and he was carrying fear in that moment as a African American man. He felt that if the cops caught up to him with the conviction that he is guilty of this, that he would not be safe. And with that fear and those thoughts in his mind, he did the only thing he really knew left that he could do. That doesn't make him weak-minded. That doesn't make him anything of that sort. He was a very strong-minded young man to carry this as long as he did, praying to God and trying to get through this and carrying all of this as long as he did, as his girlfriend said, and the TikTok videos that I've seen, where she spoke at his funeral, that he carried all of this hatred and conviction and everything on him. He carried it on his own pretty much in silence, so his family, his loved ones, his girlfriend wouldn't have to. That's not fair to him or any brown, dark brown, or black-skinned American. Human being, period. Whether they be American or not. Human being, period. Should not have to carry that. They should be able to exist in the world, or move around in the world, or move around in the neighborhood or state, city or state they live in, with the feeling and knowing that they're going to get the same treatment as every other American, that they're not going to be found guilty until they go through a proper, justice. In other words, they shouldn't have to walk around. What I'm trying to say is they shouldn't have to walk around feeling automatically convicted as guilty without even appearing in any kind of court or trial or anything like that even finds them guilty. No human being should have to walk around with the thought that society and that a juror of their peers and all of that would already have them convicted guilty, especially if they're not at all guilty. If you're guilty, then that's kind of part of the process. You're made to feel that way before a court of law finds you guilty. But if you're someone who's completely not guilty at all, completely innocent, not guilty, and especially not guilty in any kind of way at all, way, shape, or form, wouldn't even connect, especially in this beautiful baby situation, he wasn't even connected to it. He was just happened to be in the same area. He wasn't even connected to it. And he had to carry all of that around, knowing that he was still convicted as guilty anyways, and had to catch so much hate. A human being, this was someone's child. I don't care how you feel. Even a person who was racist, there should be a limit. You shouldn't be if you're racist, you shouldn't say anything hurtful or hateful at all. But if you're going to, then there's at least got to be some limit. Some people say how they feel and go way too far with it. They go way, way too far with it. And they end up causing mental damage to people without even realizing it. And sometimes they do realize it and just don't care. And that's the society we walk around in today, where people do things that cause mental damage to people because they go too far in situations. They take things way too far. And some people knowingly know the consequences, the mental damage that they're causing to the person that they're talking about, or the people that they're talking about, that they're bashing, that they're defaming their character. And there are some people that don't knowingly do it, that they do it, they go too far, go overboard, go too far, and don't realize that they have. But you have some people, I'm not even going to say some, there are actually a lot of people that exist in the world that go way too far. And they end up causing mental damage that is not only irreversible, but can end up causing even the strong person right here, very strong-minded, but I've been in several moments to where I've wanted to self-delete myself. I've been in a few of those moments. I won't really say several, but I've been in a few of those moments. It's a matter of no matter how strong your mind is, that's something that can still happen. Because it's a matter of being overwhelmed. You can be a strong-minded person, but still get so overwhelmed by the weight that you're carrying of something. And this happens for men and women, for all of humankind, even happens for animals. You see depressed animals to where they carry a person, or like I said, anyone in this case, anyone or thing, in this case, any person or animal, carries the weight of so much, and then especially when it keeps building up. I imagine things just kept building up for this young man and piling on top of him, one after the other. And that can get to be very overwhelming. But that does not make him weak-minded. That makes him human. He's a human being. And human beings we're designed to only take so much before we have our breaking point. And some people, when they reach their breaking point, they make a decision and have a lapse in judgment in that decision, that last minute decision, that last minute choice they make. Because you have some people that may end up self-deleting themselves, that if they could go back and not do it and have the chance to not do it, that they wouldn't. That they realize in the afterlife or limbo or wherever they end up before they fully cross over to where they're going. I promise you, every person, after they self-delete themselves, especially if it's in the spur of the last, a last spur of the moment thing, not something planned, because I don't think this young man planned to do this. I think this was something to where he felt cornered in and had nowhere to go, and as strong as his mind was, He is a human being, and it just happens. And that's why it is up to us in the world, everyone that knows about this, to talk about it, to say his name, Kyren Lacy, to spread his story around, so him and his family and his girlfriend, they can get the justice that they deserve. The justice that his lawyer has fought for so hard. And his family. Every family, including this young man's, deserves that. And he should get to have that. So let's come together. Let me not be the only one using my voice to speak up about this and talk about it and spread awareness. I urge you fellow people in this country and in this world. You don't even have to be in this country. You can be anywheres in this world. If you see this, or if you see the one about Trey Reed, or anyone who has been unalived or unalived themselves because of the systematic racism and hatred and all that they have to deal with, share their story, spread their story, share it around, spread it around. Let's make sure that these people get the justice they deserve. If the media, all these different media outlets and newspapers and all of that, if they're not going to cover it, then let's be these people's media coverage. Let's be their news coverage. Let's be their word of mouth. Let's speak for them. Let's be that extra voice. Come on, we're human beings. We forget the most basic element of ourselves, and that's being a basic, decent human being. You don't have to be a perfect human being. You just have to be a decent human being. And being a decent human being is speaking up when you can. I understand that some people, this is just not for them. And that's okay. You don't have to speak up. Make signs if you don't want to speak up, if you're too afraid to speak up. Make signs or make a page for him or whoever it may be. Make a page for them or draw a picture or just anything. Words can be spoken in many different ways. It just does not have to be spoken out of your mouth. Words can be spoken in many different ways. They can get spread it out and shared about in many different ways. So let's do that. Let's do every single thing we can. Let's come together, people. Let's unite. Stop worrying about who votes for who, or who believes in who, or who does who, or who loves who, or who screws who, or who goes with who. Stop worrying about all these little things in the world that just does not matter. When we have people that are dying unnecessarily simply because of the color of their skin. And add to that, you have so many people going hungry, so many people homeless, so many children hungry and homeless, so many children or so many people, women, being sex trafficked, kidnapped and sex trafficked, human trafficking. All of these different things that are going on in the world. Come on, everybody, let's come together. Like the Beatles say, come together. Come together. Come on. Let's come together. Let's do this. If we can all come together and we can all speak, and we could, and just as many of us as possible, could speak and be these young men and young women of color that are unnecessarily losing their lives, or feeling they have to self-delete their lives to escape systematic racism and hatred and bigotry and discrimination. Let's spread awareness around. Come on, let's help stop it. You have so many people saying, I wish we could have helped. You can still help. Even though that they're gone and they're not here anymore, doesn't mean that you can't help. Yes, you still can help by spreading their story around and making sure that they get that their story and their situation has the light shined on it that it deserves. You can do that. You can still help. There's many different ways that you can still help, even with them not here. They don't need to still be here for you to help. It would be nice if they were still here. That would be so nice, so amazing, so beautiful if they were still here. If their young, beautiful life or their beautiful human life did not get taken. But that happened. And although we wish we could have prevented it, it happened. So what we can do is we still can help by speaking up. If situations like this happen and you're somehow a witness to it, speak up. If you don't want to publicly speak up at risk to your life, I understand that. You can privately speak up. You can write a letter and sign it anonymous. There's many different ways, like I said, to speak up and to help these situations, to help these people and their loved ones get the justice that they deserve. Before I end this video, I want to say I love you all, my brothers and sisters in the Lord's blood, so very much. And I also want to address and apologize for referencing to only 50 to 100 years of systematic racism and slavery. I apologize. I promise you that I'm very knowledgeable, and I know that it's been going on for over 500 years. So I apologize for only referencing to only 50 to 100 years worth of it. My intention was not to say that that's all that it's only been going on for. No, I'm very aware it's been going on for over 500 years, starting out with the indigenous people here in America that the land was stolen from by the white pale-faced Europeans. Yes, I will say that because it's true, and I'm going to speak true facts. And it has gone on and continued into with African American people, and that's just here for our country. It happened thousands of years ago to the people of Israel when they were in Egypt and they escaped Egypt. So this is something that's been going on for thousands of years. So I apologize if anyone that's seen my last video might have got the idea that I'm was only referencing so much about it because that's all I was aware of. No, I'm fully aware that it's been going on here in this land right here for over 500 years. I can't explain what was on my mind while I was making that video, Justice for Trey Reed, for me to only reference 50 to 100 years of it, but I do apologize for that. Well, I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to get to my evening and relax. Again, I love you all so very much, and remember me for when the upcoming midterms 2026 election that's coming, because I will definitely be running in it as a Democrat candidate for U.S. Senate. So I will see you in another video soon. I love you all. Good night.